Welcome to the Buddy Buddy Show. I'm your host, Anthony Finley. And what's the 401? Home skillet?
And I'm Jacob Marks, and orange iguanas rule, silver snakes drool.
Nice. I like that one. So welcome, y'all. So today, if you couldn't tell by the catchphrases, we're going back to a beloved time in our life, the 90s.
Favorite decade?
I would say so.
Yeah.
Best decade. So we're both big sports fans, and so we decided to pull some categories from the 90s and just kind of draft our top 5 of each category.
Anthony's draft board, Jacob's draft board.
Most likely.
Yeah.
Mine's above yours. I agree with that. So we're gonna have some fun.
Yeah, we're gonna have some fun, and I'm particularly interested in the fact that we have 6 topics in total that we are going to be drafting, and they kind of run the gambit. I mean, of course, some stuff is nerdy, like we generally are, but some are going to be like the first topic, which I'm really interested in getting at, is fashion.
Mm-hmm. And the question, so when you draft a certain thing that's off the board, the other person can't draft it. So the question is, what's your strategy going to be? Are you going with things you want to draft, things you like, or are you going to go with things maybe you don't like, but it's popular, so you have it on the board? So
yeah,
there's a lot of strategy here.
What is your strategy going to be?
I don't know. We'll see.
Okay, be that way.
So, ready for the first one?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Do you want to jump right into the fashion?
I mean, that was the first thing that we kind of were talking about when we came up with ranking ideas. So yeah, let's start off with that.
All right. So fashion, 90s fashion. 90s fashion was very unique. And it encompasses all things you wear, your style, your hairstyle, all this kind of stuff. So
did you have any embarrassing childhood photos with you in particular 90s fashion?
I have photos. I wouldn't call them embarrassing. I'm proud.
See, I'm glad to hear that, because I'm proud of my every time I look at 90s photos of myself, I'm like, oh damn, that's a lot of color, but it works.
In living color.
Don't get me started.
All right. So, how do you want to decide who goes first?
Well, how about this? If you go first this round, I go first the next round.
Kind of go back and forth?
We'll go back and forth.
All right. So then I'll start this draft. So the 90s draft for fashion. My number one pick is a beloved piece of technology I always kept on my hip. The Sidekick.
Oh.
The Sidekick phone. Remember that?
No, I don't actually.
So the Sidekick was one of my favorite phones of all time. They brought it back mid 2000s for a little relaunch. Great phone. Love that thing. Love it.
I'll insert a photo here later on when this is getting edited, but
it's gonna be a lot of photos.
Yeah, I have no idea what a Sidekick is, but
you really?
Yeah, I've never heard of it.
The little brick phone that slides up and it has a keyboard.
Yeah, I feel like I'm I feel like I'm not a 90s kid now after hearing this. I know about a Walkman, I know about a CD player,
oh my
and
God.
I know about the brick phones, but I don't think I've ever heard of a Sidekick besides me being the sidekick.
Was that 90s?
Oh, you better hope it's 90s, man, or else I'm gonna.
maybe that was early 2000s.
Buddy, no.
Did I just break the rules already? All right.
Okay.
I'm a backtrack on that.
Oh, so
just because I may have slipped on my dates. So, start that again. My number one pick is gonna be the backwards cap.
Yeah, I call shade. I call freaking shade. You tried to have the Sidekick as your number one draft choice, and I was perfectly fine with that because I had that nowhere on my list, and now you took my number one?
This works out. It works out, folks. It works out.
Throw the backwards cap out of this.
90s pick number one. So what's your number one pick for your fashion of the 90s?
Well, since it can't be the backwards cap now, thank you, buddy. I'm going to go with something that I don't think I ever saw myself actually wear. I don't recall myself ever wearing this as a kid in the 90s, but I know that when I look back at 90s fashion, I'm like, oh, that's the coolest stuff. Whether you're an adult wearing it or a kid wearing it, overalls, particularly Left Eye from TLC. Like that, just like any sort of like your early 90s like style when they were like in the music videos back in the day, like particularly with Left Eye Lisa from TLC. Oh, it for some reason, like I just always think like that is some of the coolest stuff. I mean, it's don't get me wrong, it's like
It's like an acquired taste.
it's an acquired taste, but you when you think of 90s, you gotta absolutely think overalls.
I didn't.
Well, buddy, taste.
It's an acquired taste. It's not acquired for me.
Yes.
All right. So moving on to number 2. So number 2 pick of the draft. I already have the backwards cap. Number 2, I am going with, drum roll, Air Jordans.
I mean, I had that on my list, but I had it lower down only because I know I couldn't take that away from you. It was one of those things where it's like,
But you're the Chicago Bulls fan.
yes, yes, I did. I am a Chicago Bulls fan as long as being a Kings fan. But yeah, it's one of those things though where it's like the Air Jordan. Like I know that I love looking at Jordans. Jordans are amazing, but I also know that it's like one of those things where I know that it means a lot to other people than myself. Because one, I can't rock a Jordan. Like if I tried to wear a Jordan right now, or even back in the day, it would have been like really.
Doesn't mean much to me. I never wore Jordans. I just took it because it's cachet. So
I mean, it is.
That's the strategy.
True.
So,
I mean, my thing is that it's like I have to have like really wanted to wear them if I'm like thinking about my draft choices. I know you're going for more of the cachet route strategy wise. I'm going like kind of like more stuff like.
Yeah, we'll see.
love.
It's only 2 picks in.
Yeah.
So Jacob, what's your second pick
Well,
this draft?
speaking of NBA, because I feel like in terms of actual 90s fashion, I mean, if you take a look back at, all like the different decades of the NBA and like professional basketball, I still think to this day, 90s jerseys, like 90s NBA jerseys are the best. Like even baseball, hockey, and football had some amazing jerseys, but NBA jerseys, like the Charlotte Hornets, the Chicago Bulls, the Toronto Raptors, all of their like different like 90s jerseys and everything in between, whether it was Kings, Warriors, Lakers. I just think that, if you're looking for definitive NBA jerseys, and particularly for like, when people were wearing them, 90s for sure. That's my second draft pick.
Okay. Wasn't
Like,
on mine.
buddy, growing up, I had a Penny Hardaway Orlando Magic jersey with the pinstripes. I'm not even a Magic fan, and yet I had that. At 8 years old, there's a photo of me with that on.
Hey, good for you. It's not on my list at all, so I'm okay with that. So number three, I'm gonna go with a fashion thing that I did, that I enjoyed, that is not for everyone.
Oh boy.
So I'm going with the puka shells.
No, buddy.
I
Wait, is puka shells technically like 2000s or is it 90s?
It's a hybrid.
It's hybrid.
Yeah. So I'm going with puka shells. I remember when I was a kid, I always wore like Hawaiian shirts and puka shells. So I was wearing them as a kid. So for me, it's 90s.
Well, I mean, I really have no comments because ultimately it's like, I think some people can wear puka shells. I think maybe I tried it on once as a kid, or at least I like saw them and I thought, oh no, that's not my lifestyle. That's not me.
It's fun. It worked well on my skin. My skin
Yeah,
complexion.
I think it's like if it works well with your skin,
Yep. So that's personal preference, but hey, that's my number 3.
I mean, at least I'm appreciating because I feel like not a lot of people would have puka shells on their.
Exactly. See, it's not just cachet.
Okay.
I'm going with personal things
Okay,
too. So
cool.
it's a mixture. So go ahead. What's your number 3?
I don't know if my next tip is considered cachet or like absolutely like why am I picking this if it's like so like a hated thing, but we have a love of boy bands. Particularly NSYNC.
I think you're going with my number 10.
Yeah, I'm going with your number 10. It's my number like 4. Well, it's my third pick now since you stole one of mine. But yeah, Frosted Tips.
I had it down on mine too. Frosted Tips.
Yeah.
It's actually considered bleached hair.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, no.
That's the technical term. But
no,
yeah.
the real term is Frosted Tips, and I mean, I can never rock that.
Yeah.
Beyond the doubt. But
Thank you, NSYNC.
Yes, NSYNC, exactly. Like first off, NSYNC is the better boy band. If you ever come with me with Backstreet Boys being the better boy band, don't get me wrong, they have some bangers, but NSYNC.
Really? I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
God,
I'm kidding.
nearly. Yeah, no.
You knew this. I'm more of an NSYNC guy. It's okay.
Say, yeah, that's one thing we agree on is that NSYNC is the clearly better boy band.
Mm-hmm.
From music to choreo to dancing to the whole shebang.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool.
But yeah, the Frosted Tips on NSYNC guys. I mean, come on, it's
All right. Number 4 pick. We're doing 5 each. So number 4. Again, these are getting maybe in some more personal. I am going with the cargo pants.
I did have that on my list. A little bit further down, but yeah.
Yeah.
Cargo,
I don't know why I was obsessed. I was cargo pants, Hawaiian shirt, puka shells. That was my style growing up.
Man, you were really S Club 7 back in the day.
That was one of my favorite bands. I love S Club. Well, now S Club 7 became S Club because they lost a member. But
It can be S Club 6.
No, it's S Club.
S Club.
But I like pockets. You know, girls talk about all the time when a dress has pockets. Like, oh my god, it has pockets. My shorts had like 10 pockets. It was lovely.
Wow, it's like so basically like the commonality between like, girls back in the 90s and like dads. Gotta have pockets.
Gotta have pockets.
Gotta have pockets.
Gotta have pockets.
Okay.
T-shirt. Gotta have pockets.
Gotta have pockets.
All right, buddy.
All right, buddy. Okay.
Number 4 for you.
Number 4. Well, I think I only really put this on the list because I recently was watching The Last Dance on Netflix. So like seeing a lot of what the Bulls were wearing and what a lot of people were wearing, and only because I recently pierced my ears and I'm really into the look now. Hoop earring, like that hoop earring, whether it's like one on the ear or 2, whatever the case, freaking slaps. Like I remember I've seen some pictures of Jordan with it, with Dennis Rodman, just like anybody really like that was like really like cool wearing hoop earrings.
Jewelry was really becoming a big thing in sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like definitely my number 4.
All right. So the 5th one to wrap up the first category. Since I messed up with the sidekick, this is another piece of technology that you kind of wear. It's just the Walkman with the headphones around the neck.
See, there we go. That is a classic 90s thing. And honestly, it's like if you weren't going to pick that, because unfortunately I didn't have any technology as a fashion thing because I don't know why I didn't think of that. But yeah, that's a great draft. That's a great like draft pick to round it out for you.
Yeah, the Walkman. We had so many. My dad lost every Walkman. My mom bought him a Walkman every year.
Yeah,
for the holidays because he kept losing them. Yeah. So that's my top 5 fashion wise. I basically got all the ones I wanted, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I mean I think that's good. I mean let me pick my number 5 real quick, and then we'll see where we end up at the end here. Flannel for me, like.
You
almost did?
I typed it and then I deleted it because I'm like, flannel is it's really every decade seems like.
Yeah, but I feel like flannel was such a big thing in the 90s due to the grunge element of it.
Like around the waist too.
Yeah, around the waist, and I just kind of thought, I definitely wore flannel as a kid, and it always slaps. I know it's universal, like any decade you can wear it, but the 90s it hit a little bit harder.
A little bit different.
A little bit different. So, but yeah, buddy. So besides you absolutely stealing
your
backwards
first one,
that was a pretty easy draft.
Yeah, and I think I won that. I stole your first overall pick. So I'm very happy with my top 5.
I think my choices are very solid. I wish I had backwards cap. I'm gonna get you back somehow.
Oh, we'll see. There's plenty of time.
Plenty of time.
Let's get into TV shows. Let's do TV shows next. So I start the first one. So what is your number 1 pick for 90s TV shows?
Okay, and I know this is tough for us mainly because since we were kids in the 90s, like straight up kids.
Yeah, it's an idea. I'm a little worried right now.
Yeah, well, it's like I think a lot of our picks are going to be cartoons. And I had a rule for myself as well that if I didn't go back and watch the show later on in my adult life, like streaming wise,
is it worth it?
I'm not going to pick it because like I had to have at least had an emotional connection to it in some way.
It's fair.
Whether I watch it or I watch it later in life, but it has to be 90s. So my first pick, I think it's both a great choice cachet wise and also one of my favorite shows, particularly in the 90s. The Simpsons. Dun, dun, dun,
I'm talking
dun,
about
dun,
longevity.
dun, 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 dun.
Still going.
I
30
yeah.
years.
And honestly, I haven't watched it. Well, I mean, of course, I have like the first like 14 seasons,
Yeah.
but
It's on Disney now. It's weird.
yeah, it is kind of weird. But like those classic '90s Simpsons episodes, I mean, it was the biggest show, or at least one of the biggest shows of the '90s for a reason. Like literally, you could not. It was Simpsons mania,
It's a solid pick.
and Team Marge Simpson all the way. Let's go.
It's a solid first pick.
Yeah.
My first pick of the TV shows is very, very easy. You already know it's coming.
Yeah.
I was worried to try to get me back with this one.
Yeah.
Boy Meets World.
See, I wasn't going to do that to you because
That's my favorite show and maybe my favorite media property of all time. Even have a tattoo from Mr. Feeney's quote from the last episode. So Boy Meets World, I learned most of my life lessons from that show that still apply to me today. I've watched that show front to back at least 45, 50 times.
I still feel that your Boy Meets World, your whole like ethos about it, I mean, it's extended to every part of our life. Like I've gotten gifts that are Boy Meets World themed. I've gotten, birthday invitations that are Boy Meets World themed.
It's great.
Yeah.
How can you complain? Can't complain.
I mean, it wasn't on my list, but it's I'm not disparaging Boy Meets World.
Okay, you just lost your speaking privileges. What's your second pick? Second pick, go.
Damn. Well, I mean, I surprised myself with this choice, mainly because Spider-Man is my favorite superhero, and I do love the 90s animated series. That is that's lower on my list. But I got to go with Batman the animated series.
Good choice.
Yeah, it literally
classic.
It's classic. One of the best superhero shows.
The
best Joker.
Batman, best Joker, one of the best Batmans.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean,
Can't fault you.
yeah, damn right.
Can't fault you.
So do I get a little speaking privilege back?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay.
You got to work your way back into it.
Got it.
So second pick. Trying to decide. I'm gonna go anime. I'm gonna go anime with this one because I remember watching this early morning before I went to school. Watching when I got home from school. It is my favorite anime of all time, Dragon Ball Z.
You know what?
Love that show.
Why did I not put that down on my list?
Love that show, even though it takes them about 15 episodes just to get through one fight.
That whole Frieza arc, is just like I remember episode after episode being like, wow,
powering
they're
up.
still powering up.
Just powering up. I know, but I love it. I watched a movie for the first time, Dragon Ball Z, and it was so weird to see an hour and a half movie when it's usually like 40 episodes. It's weird.
Right, yeah. And so, no, solid freaking choice. I think that honestly, looking at both of our lists right now, I think they're tied. We're tied.
We're going different directions right now.
Yeah, we're different directions, but we're tied in terms of like the power of these shows.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
We'll see if that continues. Go ahead. What's your number 3?
Well, my number 3, I think it's a bit more underrated. I don't think a lot of people think of the show, but this is a personal favorite only because of one element of the show, In Living Color.
Oh, I actually I segued into it without thinking about it.
Yeah, you did. That's why I was kind of like, oh, don't get me started. But yeah, no, In Living Color.
In Living Color.
Yeah, no, I'm putting this down mainly because of the Fly Girls. The Fly Girls are easily the coolest dance thing of the 90s, period. And there's, I mean, we'll get to
dance later,
dance later on in this podcast, but the Fly Girls, I mean, such a great idea of segues in between skits on Living Color, which were fire, by the way. The skits are amazing.
The skits were good.
Jim Carrey on there, and all that. It's amazing, but definitely the Fly Girls, it was just awesome to see, wow, y'all are dancing in heels, y'all are dancing in sneakers, you're doing the coolest moves right now, and the choreography is always tight. Yeah.
It's a good show. I liked it. All right. Was that 3?
That was 3.
So now I think I'm going to go for a little cachet here.
Of course.
This show is a show that is one of my girlfriend's favorites. I didn't watch it until quarantine.
Let me guess. Does it start with an F?
It does, and
Does it-
it's what we are.
It's what we are.
It's what we are. It's called Friends.
Yeah.
Which I know people are like, how did you not watch Friends? Like Boy Meets World is my favorite show, and that's kind of like the same sitcom-y style. But I didn't watch it to the quarantine, and that was one of the heights of TV in the 90s. So for cachet purposes, I'm going with Friends.
It's a solid draft choice for Cash.
And by the way, that's 2 non-cartoons in my top 3.
Yeah, and I mean, I had like In Living Color was my first non-cartoon, but Friends is a good solid choice. Like, I'm not gonna fault you for it, except for the fact that Friends sucks. I'm sorry. Friends is one of those sitcoms where I'm like, no, all of you are just like stupid. Like, all the characters are so stupid in Friends. So,
You are stirring the pot.
Stirring the 90s pot. Yeah, I understand it. Personal preference. Like, just because people enjoy Friends doesn't mean it isn't a bad show. I personally just don't like it.
I mean, that's fair. It's all subjective.
It's all subjective.
But you're objectively wrong.
I'm well, because I guess it's like if it was called Buddies, maybe I would like it.
Oh, jeez. Now who's going too cheesy?
Yeah.
Number 4 pick. Let's get into it.
Number 4. It was really tough because I wanted to pick, really, kind of just like classic stuff because I just remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also was thinking, it's like, does this show also hold up? And the answer is, I don't care. It's Rugrats.
Yeah, I would say it doesn't have to hold up.
It doesn't have to
hold
hold
up.
up.
that place in your heart.
But it holds a place in my heart because, I mean, for us, like Rugrats, the whole main family is Jewish.
Mm-hmm.
The whole Hanukkah episode, the whole just.
Are you Tommy?
I'm Tommy. You're a Chucky.
I'm definitely a Chucky.
You are a Chucky.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
I mean, glasses and all.
I was about to say the same exact thing. See, we're back on track now. Same wavelength.
But yeah, no, Rugrats is my number 4, mainly because of nostalgia, but also because like it's literally what people wear on their t-shirts, like still nowadays. Like if you're thinking of any 90s show, Rugrats.
Well,
or Friends.
Yeah. I think I'm about to trump you with this next one. Just keep going cachet. Well, cachet, but also is this one I do really like. And this episode's called Draft 'Em. So I'm trying to segue into the catchphrase, but basically you gotta catch them all.
Pokemon. Yes.
Pokemon. I mean, the phenomenon that is Pokemon.
Yep.
I know Ash Ketchum's about to retire finally, but Pokemon.
Go Ash.
That is the height of geekdom.
It is.
I mean, that's the height of geekdom. Mainstay popularity. I mean, that's just. How can you not?
Yeah.
So that's my number 4, and I feel like that with that and Friends. I mean, it's just slowly pulling away a bit.
Oh no, well, because I'm going to come back with the trump card here.
So your number 5 pick is your trump card.
My number 5 pick is I don't even want to say the word Trump, but yes, it is my trump card.
Okay. Well, then just slap it down on the table. We ain't got a table, but just slap it down like there was a table.
So, because
playing dominoes.
You know what? Because what show ruled our childhood in the 90s more than Power Rangers?
Did it really though? Besides Mighty Morphin, they lost me after that because it was too much.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna tell the truth here. I'm actually didn't get into Power Rangers until like the 2000s.
Oh, so cachet. Okay.
But no, but it's also like I've gone back and watched the old Power Rangers episodes, and it's like, oh yeah, like this is totally like 90s cheese-tastic. It slaps.
Okay.
Yes, it slaps. But no, it's like, I mean, the Power Rangers. I mean, it was everywhere. Like
I was a Power Ranger for holidays one time.
Yeah, I was a.
Can you guess which one I was?
Oh, you're the Green Ranger.
No, silly.
You were the black one.
I was the Black Ranger. Of course I was.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but Mastodon. But yeah, Power Rangers just slaps. And really, as I'm like looking back at everything, I'm thinking like I'm glad Power Rangers is still on the air. I mean, the whole like,
I don't know what it is though.
Oh, it's like Power Rangers, like wild beasts, force, ninjas, craziness.
Some,
It's all tokusatsu, craziness.
yeah. Well, hey, I don't think it was at the height that you think it is, but at number 5, that's a good choice. My number 5, I'm trying to decide: do I want to go cachet or do I want to go?
Just pick a favorite of yours.
Pick a favorite. Okay,
Just like
I got one for you. And it's gonna hit you deep down because this is not just one of my favorites; one of your favorites too.
I know what you're gonna pick.
And buddy,
Yeah.
whose line is it anyway?
And here's the thing is that I had that actually at my number 5, but I made the last choice to put Power Rangers because I was thinking like, oh, I don't have enough cachet. So I was.
Oh, you're taking my strategy now.
So I overthought this. I should have stuck to my guns.
One of our mutual favorite
yeah.
shows. So I mean, that's my heart and soul right there.
Yeah, I mean,
especially the '90s version of it.
I mean, we've talked about Whose Line before, and I mean, definitely, I actually think like the modern day version of Whose Line slaps. But I understand that nothing's really going to ever compete with the '90s version of Whose Line. I never said that. Like, Wayne Brady at his all-time like bam, and then Colin and Ryan are just a freaking laugh right. And Drew Carey. I mean, honestly, Drew Carey brings such a spice to that show that just can't
Spice
be
up your life.
Na, na, da, da, da,
Oh,
da,
you got
da,
that. All right,
da.
cool.
Buddy, I was the only guy invited to a Spice Girl slumber party.
We'll talk about this later because I don't know that story. So yeah, so that as far as TV shows go, I'm happy how this is going so far. I'm getting all the ones I wanted, and so far there's not too much.
Yeah, because
Cross.
we have different tastes because my tastes
have
are better.
We have a lot of the same taste, my friend.
Well, we do, but like in terms of like our favorites though, our favorites.
Okay.
Anyways, we got some more rankings to do, man. So let's keep it going.
Which one you want to do next?
How about you want to do some? You want to go back to Recess?
I would love to go back to Recess. If there's that's a good business plan. Like do an adult Recess place. We just go and do Recess stuff again. Tell me you would not go to that.
I would. I also would consider adult Recess now just to be nap time, which I'm down.
Well,
I'm down for that.
in that facility, they have a special nap time place too.
Hell yeah.
That works.
Yeah.
Cool.
That totally works.
That's our new business. Recess rebranded.
The Buddy Recess.
Yep. All right. Okay, so it's my first one. Okay, I'm first. Now, number 1 pick. I go into a little more detail on the number 1 picks because it's the other number 1 picks. The number 1 pick for me is actually a version of a game, but I don't think you know what it is. So I can probably go take it later, but I want to take it now to respect the game. So it's a game we used to play in my elementary school. It's called Kickback. So you have 2 teams. You're just basically kicking the ball back and forth and trying to catch it. We used to have like our janitor come out, this big guy, and he would kick the ball and the ball would go like super. You couldn't see it anymore. It was so high in the sky, and it's like the game who can catch the ball when it comes down.
Oh, so it was
It was just kicking the ball back and forth. It was fun.
Oh,
It was fun. I know there's different versions of that, and we didn't really keep score or anything like that. But I love that game so much, and that is my number 1. That is a heartfelt number 1.
I'm glad that you decided to not just pick up a cachet pick, for all your number 1 picks here.
Yeah, I was going to. It was on my list to do it, but I decided to.
Also, that game sounds so 90s and yet so boring at the same time.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
No, I'm joking, man. It sounds like a blast. I would have.
Don't dog my childhood.
I'm not gonna dog your childhood.
What is your number 1 pick?
I mean, I'm just gonna
Mr.
go.
Big Shot.
Mr. Hit me with your best. That's not 90s.
Mr. Big Shot.
Yeah.
Wrong song.
Sorry. My first number 1 pick for Recess Blacktop games. I mean, I got to go with the classic Red Rover.
It's a segue from what we said the last episode. We made a little Red Rover joke.
Yeah, well, I mean, because honestly, when you got called for Red Rover.
Oh, you're going like a tank running.
I became
How dangerous is that game you think about now?
Oh, it's incredibly dangerous. Like I remember, eating complete dirt a couple times because like not only are you trying to get through like tiny kid arms,
Yeah.
but then you're also trying to make sure you don't fall over as you're passing through that.
For those who don't know what Red Rover is, it's basically like Red Rover, you call someone out from the other team, they run over, you have your arms linked with your neighbors, and they got to break one of the links to get through. So you're running full steam like a football padded player, and you're trying to break that chain, and everyone played, boys, girls, everyone was playing. It was just crazy.
I got to say, like, I remember most of the time, like, anytime like a girl was called over, oh, my arm would be shattered completely. Like, they would run through there, like, you know.
Yeah, like you think you know, but you don't.
Yeah, no, you don't at all. You don't. So yeah, I got that. And we always played that in my like that was the number one game we played.
I'm happy you did that because now my number one is still on the board. That my original number one.
Great.
My original number one is a classic. It's another dangerous game. We were very dangerous in the 90s. It's dodgeball. Everyone knows dodgeball. Some know the movie. I was not a big fan of the movie, but I mean, dodgeball. My thing, I was not a fan of the movie. Stop looking at me. My thing with dodgeball is not so much being worried about getting hit in the head or anything like that. My thing was like, that's the one game you're like, you don't want to get picked last on. Like that was the game you did not want to get picked last on. That's when all that trauma started happening. It was dodgeball.
Well, as somebody who was often picked last for their stuff, I actually embraced that because usually a lot of the time afterwards, I would actually win dodgeball games for my team. Yeah. I was a good dodger. It didn't help me in soccer. Like as a goalie, I sometimes dodged the ball because I was so used to dodging. But no, dodgeball is an amazing game. Easily a great second pick for you. But
good.
You better dodge my wrench later, man, because if you talk ill about
if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
Yes.
I know it. I know I know it. I wasn't a fan of the movie.
Put credence on Vince Vaughn, Ben Stiller.
It's not my kind of comedy.
Chuck Norris is in there.
That means something to me. Why? So
speaking privileges. Yeah. Nope. My turn. So, okay, cool. I got to go with a classic here for my number two.
All classics.
Hey, this is the classic factory.
Jacob, you know the 90s were over 20 years ago. They're all
over 20. Like, dude, it's like we're now in the getting the 30 range, babe.
What? It depends on what part of the 90s you're looking at.
Yeah, I mean,
if you just go to the 99, it's 24 years away.
True.
So, everything's a classic at this point. Everything is a relic. Everything is an antique.
Don't degrade yourself like that, man. Don't degrade yourself. You're not a relic.
Have you seen your head? I think someone else is looking more like a relic right now.
Well, I mean, at least that I have hair to be called a relic.
At least I can pull being bald. I can pull it off.
Hey, you know what?
Do you want to go down this rabbit hole? We can go all day. All right. I think it's your call. I think it's your choice.
Yes,
I'm going to be the bigger man here.
Big, yes. Number two, Simon Says. Simon Says.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you know, we all know what Simon Says is. Let's just end it there.
Simon Says Jacob should stop talking right now. And my number three now. Number three is, I'm actually going to go with, I don't know why this was so fun, but tetherball.
Yeah.
Especially when you know the trick, when you get the angle.
Oh, but see, you were a tall kid. You must have been a tall kid.
No, I wasn't. But if you get the angle over someone who's maybe shorter or not so tall.
Yeah, and it happened to me all the time.
And you keep hitting above the head like, no, wait for me, wait for me.
Okay.
It's a messed up strategy, but it's also, if you can do it, it's fun. But if you're on the receiving end, it's like so demoralizing.
In classic 90s, I dig it. Number three for me, kickball. See, when you mentioned kickback, I was thinking like, really? Like not kickball, but kickback? No, but number three, kickball. Like, it's basically baseball for people who are, baseball challenged.
Me. I was so good at kickball because I was good at kickback.
Yeah. And I was so good at kickball because I could run. Oh, I ran around those bases faster than anybody.
I didn't know you could run.
Yeah. Sub 6 minute mile in high school. Yeah,
Not bad.
not bad.
Proud of you. So what's number 4 or number 5?
I just picked my number 3, so you're number 4 now.
Number 4. Uh, Red Rover, Simon Says, Kickball. Oh man, look, they got 10 options here.
Yeah, good thing.
Have
I picked any of your things yet?
Yeah, Red Rover, Simon Says. I'm gonna go with a very competitive game. I play this like during recess, also like at camps at night.
Yeah.
Capture the Flag.
Yeah. Solid.
Like you play that at night because we did like a boys versus girls one at a camp.
Yeah.
At night, you hide it, and it's like modern Call of Duty type stuff. Like you're.
I mean, honestly,
you're trying to go through the branches and like crawl and be in the dark.
I hated because I was never good at first-person shooters, and so I was always kind of like, what do I do? I'm not gonna stop anybody. I'm 8. Yeah.
Well, I can tell you always lost then.
Very. Yes.
Okay.
I was always put on defense. I was like, guys, come on, what am I going to defend here?
I will say, if you're one of the people that hid the flag in impossible places, like you're not supposed to hide it like under things. It's supposed to be visible. Like if you're someone who hid it under the rocks or in go away.
Yeah, go away. You're not welcome here. Go away.
You're not wanted here.
You're not wanted here. Okay, number 4. Good choice for you on Capture the Flag.
Thank you. I'll take a bow for that.
Take a bow. I'm glad that this still is on my draft board because, I mean, if you thought Red Rover was the ultimate fun experience.
I'm looking at my list because you might have one of mine, I'm guessing.
Wait till you've played the ultimate game, Red Light, Green Light. You didn't have that on your list?
No. I did not have Squid Games on my list.
I freaking love that Squid Games basically just turned that super dark, super deadly. I mean, but it really, at the end of the day, didn't we all feel like we got shot whenever we did not stop on red light?
I didn't play it much. I have very few memories of it because I didn't play it much.
Well, yeah, just like my fireplace just did. It was
popping.
It was popping.
It was popping.
It was popping.
It was popping.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it wasn't on my top 10. So
see, that's a pure. Actually, that should be a cachet. Like Red Light, Green Light's a classic. I mean, again, it's all classics.
So I got 3 choices here for my last one, on my list. I think I'm gonna go with I think this might be out of left field, but Foursquare.
Wow, buddy, you were playing the
Words.
Words.
Hello, words.
Hello, words. Hello, 4 words.
Foursquare.
Really?
Do you know what that is?
Yeah, I know what that is. Nobody played that. I mean, obviously you did, but you know, I think I played Foursquare once or twice in my life.
I'd like to think I'm not a nobody. I would like to think I'm a somebody. Somewhere out there.
Somebody that I used to know. Okay, anyways. Okay, cool. Foursquare. Choices, but
it matches my eyes.
Yeah, very true. Very true. I can avoid. I'm only a 4 eye some days.
Yes. Good. Number 5.
Okay, number 5 for me. I'm glad you haven't picked this, and I feel like as I take a look at my list now, I have the superior Blacktop Games list. I feel like this is the first draft I've won because my final 5, like my 5th pick, Freeze Tag.
Oh yeah, that was 90s.
Yeah, buddy.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
I mean, tag is
tag in general.
Tag in general is like a classic, but like Freeze Tag in the 90s.
That was so annoying though. Sometimes.
Oh, well, tag.
Unfreeze me! Come here.
Tag / freeze tag. I mean, however you like slice it or dice it, like it's good.
Well, we should like play the ultimate game of tag for the rest of our lives, like the movie.
No.
Just show up random places. Hey, you're it.
I am retired from tag. I retired from tag back in the early 2000s.
We'll see.
Well, buddy, I'm kind of feeling that even though we wanted to get through 6 on this, episode here, I think, as we can tell, we talk too much. And I think, in order to make sure we properly draft our next 3 90s things correctly, I think we need a part 2.
Part 2?
Part 2.
I'm down for that.
You down for that?
All right, y'all. We're going to wrap it up there, but part 2 coming for our next 3 draftums. if you have any comments or anything else you want to hear these two dorks talk about, let us know. And Jacob, where can the people find us?
The people can find us not only on Instagram at The Buddy Buddy Show, but they can do it on YouTube as well. Please like and subscribe.
Thank you all. Appreciate it. And we will see you all next time.
Next time. Thank you all.